My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
You did.
It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already
you could still
set,
do so right
there's
now.
no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Let's. Yeah, the only thing we can do now is judge the Hydro Archon. Jesus! Still, I can't help but be a little bothered by the conversation earlier. What did Farina want to say to me right before we arrived on the stage? You could have known if y'all just didn't do this whole thing and just waited a little bit longer, you know? Well,
the prosecution and the defense are both in position.
Here we are again!
The trial shall now begin.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Excuse me?
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Then who is the real Archon? Didn't I say that? At some point that I was like, is she even a real Archon?
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
Why did she hesitate?
Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalors, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
So true of you.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
But people only see you as their Archon because that's their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist,
What if it's the
then
whale?
let me ask.
What if that's their Archon?
If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
A fraud.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That is a good question. I've got to think carefully. What do we know to be special about Farina exactly? That she's inflicted with some sort of curse. That's what she said, right? I remember that.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave?
Yes.
You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the veracity of the claim.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse.
Oh?
But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neuvillette?
So, Farina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine.
It's weird seeing her chair being empty like that.
One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house. Or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
You neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having
The
been
Oratrice
created
mécanique
by
d'Annalise
you,
Cardinal.
the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me.
Yeah, who is the real Hydro Archon?
It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
Fair.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can put the Oratrice aside for now, but then, Miss Farina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capacities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium!
The fuck is that?
All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
She just admitted that she's powerless.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me?
They want to, but they can't.
Please? You've got to believe me.
Why?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
Good question. I would also like to know that.
If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who
whale.
can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
She's really good at this, but she's watched many trials, so I'm not
Seems
surprised.
Like she really doesn't want to give up.
If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human. The dissolving, maybe?
It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn.
Yeah.
Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater?
Yeah, she should be able to survive, right?
If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you.
She's like, okay, bitch, I'll fucking do it. Farina?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
She actually... Why is she so scared?
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewien? If you are present, Miss Siegewien, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewien?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewien.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewien. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
Died.
I can't believe... You...
But what's really going on here? Farina can't have known the consequences of touching that water as a human. This is too unlike how she usually acts. Unless it's actually more important for her to keep up her facade than to save her own life? But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater?
That's what I was thinking.
Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Girl, are you... Who are you?
Please, everyone.
She's crying.
Anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Do you think she's just delusional, or is she actually? I'm so sad for her. I want to believe her so bad. Maybe she was the Archon and then she got cursed and then she wasn't the Archon anymore? Does that make sense?
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Then where is the... Farina?
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
Farina, you should spill it out. Whatever it is that you were holding back, you should spill it out. Oh, look
In
at
my
her.
capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is...
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh, look at her. I feel so bad for her, though. Like, I still don't really think that this is the whole story. Are you okay? Oh. She will be left crying on her throne. Guilty. What if it says not guilty? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? It's gonna say guilty, isn't it? I'm scared for her.
According to the judgment
Of the
Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Okay, sorry. Does it say not guilty?
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
It can't be. Did the Oratrice just declare Farina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Oh.
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty.
What?
To be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
But it said the Hydro Archon.
That's actually one of
That's
the
what I'm
available
more...
sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death
My heart
sentence
just
has been handed
sank,
out
bro.
at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
Sorry, no, I probably said
We
that.
just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Thank you, Traveler. We noticed the same thing. I am the Traveler. What's more strange is, instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place.
There's no way we're killing off Farina like that.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Hi, Fremine.
Is the trial still going?
No.
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
With some help from the Fatulia, Fremine brings a stone slate onto the stage.
Is that the first prophecy slate?
It is.
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water.
Yeah. This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the Oceanids into human beings.
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Does that mean that the people of Fontaine were...
The first stone slate describes what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids?
Yeah.
Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. We're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
The second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontainians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
Dang. As for the third slate, I'm convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Maybe this is what we're kind of doing right now. Right? This is the same as being standing on trial, just not because she got sentenced to death. Right? I don't know. The fourth slate depicts all fulfillment of the prophecy, and it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Do you think after all the people are dissolved, she'll just return or something?
Did Paimon get all that right?
I guess so, yeah.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you
Deductions.
still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source.
Is that so?
When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates.
Yeah, but you couldn't.
But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within.
Oh, I thought he was going and then thinking about it. Anyway, my bad.
Well?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea.
Damn.
That
Girly
is
really
the
messed
true
that up.
history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
He's gonna be delusional for the rest of his life.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
I thought so, yeah. So what is it that the 3rd slate is supposed to represent then?
A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice.
I just said that.
You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
It can't be.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
Lovely.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
we did exactly that.
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
Jesus.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this. But there is!
No matter what.
Surely there is.
The prophecy.
You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come.
Oh, lovely.
As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I have? Child. The ultimate proof.
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Child. Child.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about
The
a
fucking
true
whale.
culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
But what is it?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
So we need to kill the whales, what you're saying. Right? Wait, there's no way that shit's happening right now. Shut the fuck up. Why is it here? Why is it here? Neuvillette? That's terrifying. Oh my Jesus Christ. He's up! He's alive! Oh, child. Has he been fighting this fucking thing this entire time? Oh my god, they're working together now. This is amazing. Oh, I thought it was dead. Is he going back? Is that the abyss? Child. Oh, he's really beat up. Oh, he's gonna collapse. Oh, I'm gonna jump after him. Right? Surely. What? What just happened? He looks so beat up.
Way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
That's right. I'd wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last.
Bruh.
I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
What?
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist.
It wants to eat Fontainians?
Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontainians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
It will.
That is correct.
Can we talk about
Indeed,
child?
It is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time.
Yes.
Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
Oh, this man. Don't say he's been in his, like, foul legacy form for a long time now, too.
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
Do you know how big of a toll that takes on him?
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. All we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
Beat that bitch up.
It is too late.
What do you mean it's too late?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself.
Oh, lovely. What does that mean?
Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
What the fuck?
That's not something I will accept.
Period. Me neither.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
No. No. Mage N.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it still turned out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Wait, but if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
I played my part by doing the trial. Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? That's what I'm thinking. Did I miss something? Another cutscene! Stop that. What is happening?
What's happening with the oratories?
Mécanique d'analyse cardinal.
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
No way it is. Farina. She's just sitting there.
Farina!
Save her! This is not fair.
No, I still need answers.
They're gonna kill me now? Her tear. What was that? That was some plane of euthymia type of shit. Wow. What was that? Was that the original Hydro Archon? Why is she with Neuvillette? What?
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina.
Farina?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? I'm so confused.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
You are Focalor, but you look like Farina.
Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Oh.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. There was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles.
How do you do that?
Allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor.
She chose you?
But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now.
The sword.
In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being.
Did I not say that she was like two different people?
The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her.
What?
All part of the plan, of course.
Oh my
the
God.
plan to deceive the heavenly principles. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalors' divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It's like the people of Conria having to live a very long life and then turning into the Hilitrils, right? Like the corrosion.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it.
She's so sad.
It's been 500 years.
That's too long.
And all along, She's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
So did she know that she was playing this part? That's my question. I came into contact with Furina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contain a being's strongest emotions. Which, with sufficiently strong hydrosensitivity, I can form an emotional connection. Just like I did with the Oceanid in the Fountain of Lucine. Wait, could this be Furina's inner world? Yeah, it's like kind of like a plane of euthymia. Furina? What is she doing on stage? Wait a moment, that probably isn't Furina. That's likely a reflection of her inner self. If I can directly speak to that self, I might be able to easily get what I wanted to know. I came here for answers. Either way, this opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules.
Come on, it's me.
All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you.
Don't look at me, don't look at me.
There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
But I don't see an audience here.
Oh,
just let the stage lights go off,
Can
please.
You not feel
it's
it?
only for 1 second. She has to put up this like act all her life.
I
500
am
years.
Focalor. The eyes
That way
of
I can become myself again.
Are upon me. I must
Can I turn off the
at
lights?
all times display the utmost elegance and nobility.
What sort of resolve must she have that even her inner self and subconsciousness would have such an impenetrable defense? I have to find a way. Turn off the stage lights. I'll save you, Furina. I'll save you from this nightmare. You have to live through being a false identity your entire life. That's fucking horrible. Furina! That's how the spotlights turned off. In Furina's heart, they must have symbolized the eyes of the people on her. A ticket. When did that item appear? Oh, I'll get to sit there? Okay. Either way, looks like the show's about to begin. In that case, show me how you truly feel, Furina. She feels fucking horrible, probably. Scene 1, before a mirror. Furina. This is gonna be hella sad. I'm her.
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
It rhymes.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Somewhat?
Oh, so there's
Also, I just noticed her hair is
after all.
different.
Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering...
See, her hair is short.
Well, I will admit that the
Is
first
it?
thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So, if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed,
that is such a big burden.
All hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
I'm surprised she kept it there for 500 years, not gonna lie.
What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial?
What about the people that already dissolved?
How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
I don't think she was looking forward to it. Look at her hair. See that? Her hair grew.
This is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural.
Summon courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon.
Appear earnest.
In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Verena. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership
And that's how she made her
this opera house, would the children
Verena.
of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
Yep.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech.
Resolutely with conviction.
My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin.
This is like picking between her true self and the character that she's playing.
So long as I, the Archon Focalors, stand within the opera epiclese, so long as I stand before the oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
I think they bought it.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the opera house in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
After a long day of acting, she comes home and lies in bed.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time.
It must be so freaking exhausting. Like, imagine you have to pretend to be someone you're not for 500 years, bro.
But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Scene 4. Opera House. Farina.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today.
I know what they're doing, and I don't like it.
There is nothing to worry about. I just don't know when these days will end.
Bro, 500 years.
I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
Oh no! Scene 5, Opera House, Farina. Yep, I get the gist of it. Day after day after day. She goes to the opera house, she does her research, she talks to the people, and then she goes home. Scene. Yup.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer, a descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
She's breaking. She's crying.
Are you crying?
Really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
I feel so bad for her. Do you remember hearing her cries in the fountain?
So
that's her every...
interminable.
These are the cries that were in the fountain.
So lonely. Just how much longer?
This was all... Bro, if we really thought about it, we could have known from the start. How much longer, she asks. How much longer do I need to keep this up? She was acting weird and suspicious. Acting like different people. That's because she was playing an act the whole time. And that's why she was asking, how much longer?
Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more.
No human brain could ever take that.
I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far?
This is so fucking upsetting.
I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
I'm so... Farina and... me? Nope. Yes?
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
That's my voice. And is this scene from when we were within the giant magic box? Yes, it was just like, just now. This is great. I didn't think that the scene would replay in her inner world. Surely I'll find out what she wanted to tell me this time.
She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I I am Farina.
She didn't
the
say it
Archon
even
of
in her
Fontaine.
heart.
Everything will surely get better.
But I know what she would want to say at this point, so.
All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
I feel so bad for her. She doesn't want to risk it.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate.
How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber.
Was that you?
It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
She is in the Oratrice? So she's been sending out the same sentences as...
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth.
Well, explain it then.
In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
Bro.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered?
So you need to die?
My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power,
how could you have foreseen that I was going to be here?
5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratrice. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
Holy shit!
But...
is he gonna give her the gnosis, or...?
Getting sad again, are we?
Is it gonna rain inside, I swear to God?
The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
Jesus.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked.
Don't cry, I'll cry. Am I gonna have to watch another Archon die?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all others. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land. When you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalors. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
I don't know where to go.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain
Bro, this
call
is not
has
gonna be a Hydro Archon.
I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
Does Farina get to still live though? I'm like confused because they're like... She split them, but I don't know.
Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
For free! Sorry, I couldn't. Does that mean that there's never gonna be people with a hydro vision anymore? No, wait a second. She turned into water. What's gonna happen to Farina? She's still sitting there. Thank you, Farina, for all you've done. From this moment on, please live happily as a human, just as I wish you could.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Oh! Wow.
The damn...
Joe! Please! I needed that. I really needed that. Thank you, Xiao. Oh, Jesus. I didn't cry. I almost did.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Yes.
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
Yes, it can.
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means.
Period.
I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry.
You obtained power? Just now?
Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice.
You mean me?
The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Can I just say... Child's down there, he can help. Why do I have to go? I don't want to fight this whale. Oh, I'm gonna jump after him. Right? Surely. Hell no! Hell no! Oh, I don't like this.
We're going to execute it? But how are we going to do that? It's huge!
I've already done my best to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together.
He's gonna give me the power of the ancient dragon? Say less! Oh, I'm angering it. I don't like that.
Sorrow turning into hostility.
Oh, Jesus. I can't see! Is that a glitch?
Yeah.
Destroy the eye.
Solidify!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility.
Ah!
Chance will present itself.
Okay.
Gather!
I'll keep fighting it, I guess. Ah! Where's Child? Oh, right, we have to be on the inside. That's what he said.
Why is there a hole of you keeping over there?
What the fuck are you?
Very scary.
What the fuck are you? The music is so good!
Order guide you. Gather!
What the fuck even are you?
I have granted you my protection. Do not seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
I'm not fearing, sir. I'm not scared. I don't fear shit.
Conquering! Here! Worthless! Worthless! Here! Here!
Oh, something happened. Did it spit me out? Oh, is it dead? What is going on? Was that it? Did I win already? There's no way. Whoa, what the hell? Who are you? Child? Is that the bitch that fucking... What did you just do?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well.
What did you just do to my friend?
It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Your disciple and master's pet?
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Your child's...
From what she said
Skirk,
earlier,
right, that was her name.
Master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world.
Power from beyond this world?
So you may speak to me as equals.
Can we talk about the fact that you just threw a child away with some sort of like, what the fuck was that? I'm so worried right now. What did you do to him? What sort of person would take the all-devouring narwhal as a pet?
I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh,
Where did you throw him
so
to?
You don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did.
I don't.
His name is Sertologi.
Sertologi who? Who, Muggle?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
It's probably not from Teyvat then, is it?
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Foul?
As in the Foul Legacy?
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
The Foul Legacy.
Vetterfulnir then?
Legacy?
Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Visionary? Oh, we've heard of a Visionary.
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine-daughter's part of the Hexen Circle.
Oh, right.
She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes?
What the fuck?
My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos.
Oh, lovely.
In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
No, there's little to be surprised about, Paimon. It is natural after all. The prophecy will surely come true. We knew this and accepted it. However...
Not to worry. Focalors has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
Right. So what should be happening is nobody's gonna dissolve.
In the end,
right?
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Jesus! Why is Linny talking?
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
They're all fine. I just don't exactly know how. How is Fontaine the only place that's underwater, by the way? Can I just say that? Fine, right?
Hey!
Navia!
Over here!
The boats!
All hands initiate emergency rescue!
Christly. I forgot about the boat, bro.
Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
Our diver boy. There's bubbles. Someone drowning over there. Where's Farina? Lynette.
Look! The water's receding!
Yeah.
It's a miracle!
Jesus.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
He wasn't. Your Archon just deceived the Heavenly Principles. Farina. It's okay, you did well. It's all over now.
Are you alright?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
It wasn't. Bro, it's a mess here now. What is this?
The Soul renewed. The Spina di Rosula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spina di Rosula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, Booner Brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye.
The articles do make me curious about how things will play out.
Hyman's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
I don't like how we're just glossing over the fact that Child got thrown into like some fucking portal. We didn't ask this bitch about it once. After all that we've done to try and find him? Really? Really?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clarence?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Oh, wait just a moment.
Wait, so the people that got dissolved didn't
about
get
how
to
you felt
return?
before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's
I really
lots
thought
of
that was going to
exciting material
happen.
there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
Miss Charlotte?
I see you're the same as always.
There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange. Did you get a new lipstick?
I did. It was a gift from Sijuin.
This conversation is going on way too long.
I think the color would suit you too.
What are you implying here? What were you implying there at the end?
This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend. Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh! Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that loss?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Hyman sees them! They really are here! How did you know?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a picture of us.
Cute.
Got it.
What about Linny?
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you.
What?
So, how have things been, Traveler?
I'm doing not so good. I miss Child.
Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
I bet she is.
That's alright. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
I'm gonna go insane. I'm actually gonna go insane.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself.
I hate
but
it
when
here.
I thought
the gnosis wasn't.
There were actually a number of things going for it.
But
it could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
What matter?
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
Huh.
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself.
I will.
Yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that.
He'll make time.
But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
Yes, thank you.
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds.
Oh!
I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Thank God. Well, I guess I can now call him one of my war buddies.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
I'm so happy. Where did he get thrown at then? Did she just straight up throw him to Snezhnaya? Like, what the fuck was that?
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Okay, hi. What do you think?
Father!
Still weird.
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance.
Hi.
Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
I know.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world.
Maybe the Fatui isn't that bad, guys.
In mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks.
Okay.
Switching my masks is something I've always done.
Will you keep to your position?
Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
Partners, really? Actually, I just remembered something. Please help us deliver this!
A vision?
The vision of child!
All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
Of course. I'm so happy he's safe.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
My name's Charlotte.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
No.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence.
Yo,
I didn't
she
even
tried
dare
to kill
take a picture.
Farina.
Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
Thank you.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now. So many things have happened, but the pockets are still the pockets. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so we'll get going now. Have a good day, you two.
I want to look how Neuvillette's doing, but I also want to know how Farina's doing. What if they're collecting the Gnosis to, like, give the power back to all the dragons? What if that's what the Fatui is doing? Just like Focalor was doing. She gave back the power to the dragon.
So, you really are here, Neuvillette. I didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting.
About
so
what?
I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Those are the deceived heavenly principles, and use Farina's endless performance to save Fontaine.
So that's what happened?
I only saw Farina's part myself.
Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontainians from dissolving.
He forgave their sins.
For me, The authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
About the initial verdict that was passed on Child.
I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young.
Yep.
There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal.
He awakened the fucking whale?
But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the trial,
it was the Archon.
Whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalors deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off,
I think it was that part.
Say. Do you recall how Fontainians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Right!
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Oh.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, it seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
About Fontaine's future.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalors' words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest.
I get that after 500 years of pretending to be someone that you're not.
I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalors the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalors passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me.
I think this is so funny because I really just got Farina because I was like, oh my god, full Archon team. Because I don't have Venti. She's not an Archon.
As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue
I
to
guess
serve
he's
Fontaine
the sort
as
of
its
an
highest
Archon now,
judge.
I guess.
The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person.
About Fontaine's Gnosis.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis.
They really have.
Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
About the next stop on my journey, Natlan.
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume?
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land.
It's they have good food, a lot of meats, I heard.
As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Am I gonna have to fight dragons there? I swear to God.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, not like him.
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity.
I cannot wait to get to Natlan right now.
Natlan is also the nation
It's gonna
of
take a
war.
year, but...
War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of
never
information
mind.
I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you.
Is it about the fact that they want their noses? Because I knew that.
The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Is the captain like the #1 Harbinger?
The captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you.
Thank you. I have no more questions.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got a question about the Gnosis.
Really?
When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
About my brother?
In truth,
Imagine.
I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Ooh, what was it? What was it?
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Neuvillette?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains of the third descender?
Remains?
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalors' divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me.
You should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you.
Objects of misfortune?
To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts. And my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me.
Oh, so it's
Perhaps
not
it just wasn't that important for me to know.
Wait, so the gnosis are remains of the...
If you're interested, though,
or is that
I
just
could
this one?
ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Okay.
Next
Skirk
time.
seems kind of cool.
You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
Child?
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
I have nothing to say about this. I don't know anything about this. I don't know.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
So they are actually all...
All
okay.
the same,
Well,
assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
a descender. She mentioned one of them. I am the fourth descender. This information means two things. One, that the Gnosis are related to descenders. And two, that the one who became before me has already died.
I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them.
Does that mean that I have a gnosis?
That means that the gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender.
Wait, so all the gnosis come from one descender?
I wonder. Does your body also possess similar properties?
I think so, because I can wield all the elements, and if you think about it, the gnosis are a part of being able to... Like, they all are one element. So do you think that the person that came before me, the third descendant, was the same as me?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision!
Yep.
That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy.
Do I have chess pieces inside my body? What?
Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all?
Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him.
Yes, please!
Go look for his master and get the answers that way.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
And everyone's still alive.
Yes. All of Focalors' efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
Can you understand the will of the gods?
I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
It's gonna rain again. Masquerade of the Guilty. Finished. Damn, bro. That was something.